What's going on, guys? This is Ethan, the Games Adjuster, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking about the two-player only game, Capo Dei Capi. And so I just picked this game up recently. I did a big culling, really, of my games and found a website online to trade those games with. And so this is one of the ones I ordered. I ordered a few more I'll be doing reviews on very soon. But this one is a very neat dice game from Dr. Steve Finn. So Steve Finn, pretty famous for Biblios. He's also got the flower shop one that looks really neat. But this is the one I picked up. I'm a sucker for mobster themes. Very cool two-player only dice push your luck game. So let me show you how it plays real quick, and then we'll come back here for those final thoughts. Here we go. Okay, here we go. I have set up a game of Capo Dei Capi. I've accelerated the game a little bit. Normally, to begin the game, each player will get some of these mayor chips. The first player will get 4. The second player will get 5. These cards are not part of the base game here, so we'll talk about those in a little bit. But otherwise, these other areas here would be empty, except there would be 2 cubes on this center mayor card. Okay, but just for example purposes, I'm accelerated the game. I put some tokens out that normally would not be there for understanding. So here we go. On a player's turn, they are going to roll these 2 dice, the white and the black die. And the first player would get these dice as well as these 4 chips. When they roll, they're going to evaluate their roll. And their roll is going to tell them what kind of action they can take. So you notice here, when players roll, both dice are 1 through a 3. They can place an influence token from the supply next to the target card. So for example, if they have the white 2 and a black 3, they could put either the 3 token next to the white 2, and it would just stay outside, not yet on the card, or they could put a 2 token next to the black 3, right over here. Okay, choose one of those 2 options. Once they've made their choice, they would make the decision to either keep rolling or voluntarily stop. If a player stops rolling, they would immediately collect all of the tokens that they have put on their side. So this one would be placed onto this card here. Each card can only have 5 total tokens on each side. If there would already be 5 tokens there and you wanted to place a 6th token, then you could replace another token of your choice. However, you could not look at the, you can only replace with a bribe token. Let's say if a bribe token had been out here, and we'll talk about how you get those, you have to make the decision to replace whatever 5th token you would have before you look at this token. Okay, so if a player stops, they end their turn, they collect their tokens, and then it would be the next player's turn. But most of the time, you're not going to stop after 1 roll, right? This is a press your luck game. So what you want to do after that, let's pretend we didn't stop, we would roll the dice again and reevaluate. So here, we'd have a 4 and a 3. And so an extort action would be to raise the extortion level number shown on the die and place a mayor chip. So we'll go to the mayor space here. We'll extort the mayor by moving this token up 3, 1, 2, 3. And then we will put one of these mayor chips from the supply in front of the mayor. And again, we do not yet have that in our supply. We started the game with, that would be extra. And then they would probably roll again. So here we go. Another 4 and a 3. 1, 2, 3. Another mayor chip. Ooh, now they're getting close to busting. There are 3 ways in which you can bust. If a player would need to place a token in front of an area that already has one, not including the mayor chips, then it would bust. Another way you can bust is if the extortion level would raise above 6, you bust. Finally, if you've rolled doubles, and so let's say this player had rolled doubles earlier, and they take this hitman token. Normally this token is actually a black pawn, very similar to this red one here. In my copy I purchased secondhand, it did not have that pawn, so this is just a black token. But if the pawn was in front of them like so, and they would roll doubles again, they would bust. In which case, when you bust, all of the progress you've made is lost. So this token would go back to the supply. These chips would go back to the supply. This would reset down to 0, and it would be the next player's turn. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about some of these actions and some of the expansion rules, and then we'll go back up top and I'll tell you what I think of it. So as far as extra actions go, you can bribe. When you roll a 5 and a 1 through 3, you will put a bribe token, which are these green ones here. Those will be shuffled face down at the beginning of the game. You'll take one of them and put it next to the target card. So example, if I had a 5 and a 1, I would put that token next to this white one. 5 and 4, you get to flip an opponent's bribe token, raise the extortion level by that number on the token, and place a mayor chip. So let's say we did that. There's one over here from the opponent. We'll flip that over, and we know now they have a 2 there. We'll put a chip here, and since it was a 2, we raise this up by 2. A 6 and a 1 lets you put any one of these, or 1 through 3, I should say, any one of these value cubes on the target card. So black 1, we put that cube here. And value cubes are just points at the end of the game, and they will make these locations more valuable as well. The 6 and 4 place a value cube on the mayor card and then raise the extortion level by the number of cubes that are placed there, as well as placing a mayor chip. So if we had that 6 and 4, we would put this token here. There are 3 cubes now here. 1, 2, 3, raise that up, and we put another mayor token down. 6 and 5, you place a value cube on any area card, and if possible, flip an opponent's bribe token on the same one. So let's pretend this had not yet been flipped, and we were to put 1 here. We would get to place that and flip it over. If we put it over here, let's say, we wouldn't flip anything. Okay, and then there are the double actions. So we'll start with the double 1. So double 1 action is place influence tokens worth 1 next to any one card. Double 2, place 2s. Double 3s, place a 3 token next to any card. Double 4s, take a mayor chip into your hand, place a chip next to a mayor and raise the extortion level by 1. Double 5, you put a bribe token anywhere. And double 6, you get to move a value cube from one card to any other card. And then if there wasn't one to move, you would place one from the supply. All right, so that's it. You'll just keep rolling the die and taking actions. There is a limit of 7 mayor chips that each player can have. And then after you bust or voluntarily stop, the next person would go. Now, there are some ways to mitigate or affect your dice roll in the tokens in front of you. And these are going to be these mayor actions, and that's why you may want to collect these chips. And so if you look at the 1 chip actions here, you have deceive, pocket, payoff, and backstab. So deceive says you can shift any token from next to a card to be next to another card. So if I had rolled maybe this earlier and put this here, and I thought, boy, I keep rolling 3s and 1s, I'm going to move this over here to a 2, I could do that. The pocket will let you score it immediately. So if I feel like I'm filling up with a lot of things, I want to go ahead and get one of these on the board so I can roll that space again, I could put that token on there, and now this is clear for me to put another token there, whether it be influence or bribe. The payoff is going to let you leave the hitman in the supply. So immediately after you roll double, so let's say I had this double 1, I could, instead of taking the hitman token, pay one of these mayor supplies or mayor chips back to the supply, and I would not have to take this token. Now the only exception to that is if you've already rolled doubles and you have the mayor in front of you and you were to roll doubles again, so let's say we did this double 5 here, I could not pay him off. It's too late. He's already in front of me. I've been too dangerous. I will end my turn and bust. Okay, and then finally the last one action token is, or 1 token action is going to be backstab. So the non-active player, it's the only one that they can do when it's not their turn, is force the active player to negate their roll and a re-roll, which can be very devastating if you are in a situation where as the active player, you don't have any more chips, you got very lucky with your last roll, and one more roll might bust you. Okay, and then there are 2 chip actions. One of them is renege, which will let you negate your own roll and re-roll, and this is the only action that can be used to avoid a bust. 1 chip actions cannot be used to avoid a bust. So like we talked about earlier, if there was a token, maybe let's say here, and I would have to place another one there because the 2 options available are taken, then I would bust. I could not move this over and then place it. It's too late. Okay, and then the other action is scandal. This one simply lets you move the extortion level up by 1 or 2. When you get to these 5 and 6 spaces and you end your turn voluntarily, you will get to collect some of these cubes here. The 5 will let you take half of them rounded down. So if there was 3, I'd only take 1. The 6 will let you take all of them. And again, these are straight points at the end of the game. And you would reset this. Okay, so that's basically it. The only other thing I will mention is the expansion. And before I get to that, is when you would use any of these mayor chip actions, you must roll at least 1 more time. Okay, and the renege, actually that counts as that ability, but more like the deceive and things like that. If you shifted things around, you would definitely need to roll again. So now let's talk about these mini expansion here, these 5 cards. So these 5 cards are in what's called the Apprentices expansion, and they're basically just variable player powers that the players will get at the beginning of each turn they take. So the first player will not get one, but starting with the second turn, these will be face up available, and the active player can take one of them to use. And then after they've used them, they will return them back to the supply face down, and the next player will choose another one until all 5 have been chosen, in which case they become available again. So we'll talk briefly about what they do. They're pretty simple. The bodyguard here, if he's in front of you on your turn, you cannot bust by the hitman. Very cool if you're rolling a lot of doubles. The cheat here says for the turn's first roll, you'll roll 1 die and then set the other to any result that you want. Very cool. The gambler here says pick a number, turn the card clockwise. If the number is rolled, earn prize at turn end unless you bust. And so you'll see here there's some different numbers you can get here. And then the lawyer here says place on the opponent's side of an area and to prevent them from placing any influence or bribes. So if I put this here, then they could not place any of these bribe tokens or influence tokens in this area until it gets back to my turn, in which case he would go away, and then when it gets back to their turn, he would be available. We've got the politician here. During this turn, freely perform 3 actions worth 1 mayor chip each. They could be the same action or different actions. And so these are very simple throw in. There's only 5 of them. All the rules are well explained on the back. There's a rule that explains kind of the setup as well, but very simple. And so the play will continue until one of 3 things happens. Either A, any one of these influence token pools is depleted, the game will end immediately. B, the bribe tokens are depleted, game ends immediately. Or C, the value cubes are depleted, game ends immediately. Once the game ends, then players will consult each area card and see who has the most influence or bribes there. And this is number value, not number of tokens. And they will get 1 point for each card that they control. They will get 1 point for each cube that's on there if they control it. Any ties will go to no one. So in this example, that's a point for this player. That's a point for this player. This is nobody's because it's a tie, 3-3, and so nobody gets these cubes either. We wouldn't evaluate this section. Here we'd flip this over. This would be a point for them. And we'll flip both of these over. That's 2-2. Nobody gets it. 1 point here, plus 1 more. And then we tally final score. So this player has 2 points. And then I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I would win the game. So there you go. That's basically everything. Let's go back up top and let me tell you what I think about it. Here we go. Okay, there you go. So that is how you play. Let's talk about it. We'll start with the theme. I love the mobster theme. Like I said at the beginning, you know, I'm a sucker for that kind of theme and those kind of games and those movies, things like that. This game doesn't really have a whole lot of theme. It's just a really basic, you know, push your luck dice game. But there are little moments of theme where, you know, extortion, if you try that too much, the mayor's going to push back a little bit. If you get a little bit too much influence out there, there's a hitman that can be sent on you. So paying off the hitman even with the mayor chips, using kind of the mayor's political power, things like that. So in that sense, you know, it's kind of thematic, but it's not tremendous, right? You know, you're ultimately just rolling some dice and hoping to push your luck and press your luck, just not too much, and you can get those influence and kind of do this area control thing. So it's decent, but you know, it's not, you know, anything that's going to blow the doors down. As far as the production goes, you know, it's okay. The dice are fine. I'm a fan of like the rounded edges on the dice. This is just like the hard straight edge, so it's fine. They roll well. The tiles are nice and thick that you play on. I kind of like the artwork. It's, you know, kind of dark and you know, it's got like a casino look and very mobster feel, so they did that well. The chips, the little tokens, they're okay. So the mayor chips, I don't think any of them are double-sided, which is kind of a shame. Like, I see why the bribes wouldn't be, right? Because you have to put them face down and you don't get to look at them until you place them. And there's that little bit of hidden information for the opponent. But the other ones really could have been double-sided. I don't know why they're not. The mayor chip, the 1, 2, and 3 influence tokens. The cubes are fine, but overall it's just an okay average production. It's a nice box though. So everything fits really nice in here. It's a nice thick box. So that's a plus. And like I said, I kind of like the artwork. It's, you know, kind of I don't know, realistic looking. I don't know. It's cool. It's again monster theme. You like monsters, you'll appreciate that. The rules are very simple. There's a very nice player aid that comes in it. I don't think it comes laminated. My version is again secondhand, so whoever had it before me may have laminated it themselves. But everything on that sheet is very easy to follow. The Apprentices expansion that came in this, and again may not come base game, but I have it. It's pretty easy too to just throw those in. So on the whole, the rules are pretty easy. Every outcome that you get, you can consult your little table, and once you play a few rounds, it's pretty easy to know. Okay, rolled a 4 and a 1, 2, 3. I'm going to move the extortion track, put a mayor chip next. And so all those kind of they have familiar things to them, like the 1 through 3s, and you have both the dice for those. Then you can just put the influence either side. The 6s and the 5s and maybe some of the doubles kind of get a little confusing, but again, it's not very much. And gameplay wise, you know, I like it. I'll tell you, I haven't had the best luck so far, I don't think. So my wife, pretty much kicked my butt both times we played it. And then we played it a couple more times after that. But yeah, it's a pressure luck game, right? So you can do really well, and if you roll really well and make good decisions, then you're gonna, have a good score at the end. On the flip side, if the dice just aren't going your way and you roll poorly, then you're not really gonna have a good time. If you bust a few times right out of the gate, or you keep rolling doubles and having to spend your chips to pay off the hitman so you can keep rolling, and even perhaps then you roll again and get the extortion up too far and then you bust that way, that can be a little deflating. So just keep that in mind. It's ultimately a quick dice press your luck game. I'm talking 15, 20 minutes on the box. I think that's pretty accurate going into the time now. So yes, it's very lucky. Yes, it's very swingy. Yes, you can get blown out. Other times you can have a really close game. But it's tolerable and it's manageable because it's so quick. So I like it though. I like the decisions that you're making. I like how much game they packed into such a simple mechanism. You just roll your 2 dice and you make a decision. And there's a lot of paths that come out of that, as far as intrigue and what does the opponent have as the face down bribe token. Do I need to put more resources over here? I've already got a 3 there, but what if they have a 3? They already have a 1 there too. That's 4 to 3, but maybe they only have a 1 and a 1. So you have to manage what those resources you're going to put out, and what decisions you make. So again, overall, I think it's good. It's just maybe a little too lucky for my taste. And then finally, the variety. The variety is not tremendous. There's the same areas, the same 5 apprentices if you choose to play that. The dice rolls, you kind of know what you're going to get, and there's not really a whole lot of choice in what you roll. You really can't mitigate the dice roll themselves other than to renege and roll them again. Beyond that, it's just mitigating, pocketing things sooner so that you'll give more chances to roll. But that's really the only kind of mitigation you're going to have. So there you go. That's the game basically. I do like it. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. It's a cool, fun, press your luck dice game for 2 players only. And it gives you a lot of different feels. So press your luck with the area control feel to it. And again, it's a pretty neat mechanism that all these different combinations of dice will give you different actions and different ways to influence and bribe these different areas. So that's neat. So definitely worth checking out. I think it's a pretty cheap purchase if you can find it. It is, I believe, out of print, so that might be hard to find. But if you go to like a used game store, or maybe on Amazon or something, or eBay, you could probably find it. So check it out if that sounds good to you. If you have any other mobster themed or press your luck games for 2 players that we should check out here, let me know. Put that in the comments below. If you've played this game, let me know what your thoughts were on it, what you might have rated it. Other than that, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.